News is online at onenewsnow.com. I'm Rusty P.
It was a bad move. Target invited men who say they feel like women into restrooms and changing areas designated for women. They probably guessed other retailers would follow their lead, but they were wrong. Others saw that bandwagon was headed in the wrong direction. We're not ready to sacrifice the safety of women and children for the sake of progressive bathroom policies. Invite Target to make a better move. Sign the Boycott Target Pledge at afa.net.
What they're looking at is pure socialism, or worse than socialism. You know, there's a word called communism, too. There's a word called, they don't like to use it. Very rarely do you hear that.
We all know that AOC and this crowd are a bunch of communists. They hate Israel. They hate our own country.
The United States is running concentration camps on our southern border.
There's a word called communism, and they're trying to get socialism over the line. But these people this is beyond socialism.
They're anti-Semitic. They're anti-America.
The fact that concentration camps are now an institutionalized practice is extraordinarily disturbing.
Freedom prospers when religion is vibrant and the rule of law under God is acknowledged.
An informed patriot is what we want.
Welcome to American Family Radio's Focal Point, the home of muscular Christianity on conservative talk radio.
Muscular Christianity.
Where we relentlessly explore the intersection of truth and politics.
The trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so.
Now, here's your host, Brian Fisher.
Except not this time. Brian Fisher's taking some much-needed time off to take care of some business, and I'm your host. You may or may not know me or recognize my voice. I'm Bishop E.W. Jackson. I've been around the American Family Radio Network here and there as a guest, as a host, off and on. So you may be familiar with me. But if you're not, I am certainly honored to be standing in for Brian Fisher today and tomorrow, and then I'll be back again with you next week. So be sure to tune in. Let's keep the program going. Let's keep that quality up, shall we? And I just want you all to know a little bit about me. If you're new to who I am and to my background, I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I'm a Harvard Law School graduate. Don't hold it against me. I didn't drink the Kool-Aid. I am a pastor. I pastor and I'm presiding bishop over the called churches that are based in Chesapeake and Boston, and we've got a few churches in foreign countries as well. And let's see. Oh, I'm married. I've been married for, are you ready for this? My wife won't like me telling this, but I've been married for 49 years, folks. 49 years. I know. You're thinking, you know, Bishop, you don't sound a day over like 67. Right? Exactly. Not a day over. I love doing radio, love to have an opportunity to be on and interact with you all. We're going to have some fun today, but we're going to talk about some very important topics as well. I am the founder and president of an organization called STAND, Staying True to America's National Destiny. And you can find out more about STAND by going to our website, standamerica.us, standamerica.us. You can sign up. We're doing some exciting things right now. As a matter of fact, we've just started a new coalition within the last 2 or 3 months called the Stand Against Communism Coalition, and I'm going to be getting into a little bit of that during the program today, talking about the issue, that is, of socialism being, in effect, the back door to communism. You know, socialism is becoming acceptable in many circles in our country. I don't think people understand that socialism really is indistinguishable from Marxism in its results. The Communist Party USA, folks, the Communist Party USA, you know what their stated goal is? Their stated goal is to make America a socialist nation. Now, do you think that they see any distinction between communism and socialism since they're the Communist Party USA? Do you think they think, oh, we don't want to go quite into communism, we just want socialism? No, they know that the two are exactly the same. The end result is exactly the same. And folks, that's a totalitarian society in which there is no freedom, there is no private property, and an overweening state controls everything and everybody. And we all, in effect, become slaves to it. So We're going to get into that even more deeply. I guess I said more about it than perhaps I needed to say. But look, this is Call-In Talk Show. This is a Call-In Talk Show, and I love talking to people. I love hearing your points of view. And by the way, you're actually listening to a person who really believes in the First Amendment. That means I actually believe that people who don't agree with me have a right to be heard as well. Unfortunately, the left does not share that expansive point of view. They think you have a right to be heard only if you agree with them. I don't happen to be of that ilk. I want them to be heard because, frankly, I think it helps me because the more they're heard, the stupider they sound. And that's why the left almost never engages in substantive debate because they're incapable of substantive debate. They've always got to go to name calling and personal attacks because that's all they've got. So I hope to hear from you today. The number is 888-589-8840. That's 888-589-8840. And by the way, for those of you who are listening, we've got stations, of course, all over the country, but you may know people who aren't within earshot of one of our radio stations, and they can live stream the program at afr.net. All you need is a smartphone, a laptop, tablet, any device that connects to the internet, and you can listen to the program. And we hope that you'll encourage people to do that. Tell them on your Facebook page, tell them on your Twitter page, tell them on your Instagram page, tell them on YouTube, tell them however you can tell them that they need to be tuned in to AFR 24/7. That's all we ask. Just listen all the time. I don't think that's too much to ask. But I'm glad you're listening today, wherever you are out there in the United States of America. If you want to connect with me, by the way, you can connect with me at Facebook. E.W. Jackson SR is my face for my fan page, my public figure page. The same is true for Twitter. And by the way, you can access my Twitter page even though I have personally been banned from Twitter. Can you believe that? Can you believe, just in the last 3 or 4 minutes you're listening, you're thinking, what a nice guy. What this guy really sounds like a nice man. Why in the world would Twitter ban him? Well, I guess I said something that they didn't particularly like. It wasn't profane. It wasn't nasty. I simply called somebody out on what I consider to be anti-Christian bigotry and frankly, a kind of blindness to what I consider the evils of Islam. And for that reason, they suspended me. But the suspension is apparently permanent because I appealed it and I've never heard anything back. And I have not had time to pursue it. I'm too busy living my life. But Twitter has banned me. But you can still follow me, apparently. People are still following me on Twitter, even though I cannot follow myself on Twitter. Think about that one. And let's see, I think that's it. If you're in our area, in my area, and I'm in the Norfolk, Virginia Beach area, but if you're in that area, I am the pastor of a church. I preach at church every Sunday morning, and I'm there at 10:15 for Christian education, a Christian application class we call it, 11 o'clock for worship service. Go to our website, thecall.org, and find out more. Okay, look. I begin this program. I was really excited about the honor of substituting for Brian Fisher. I really was. I have been. I've known I was going to do this for a couple weeks now. And again, I will be back tomorrow, and I'll be back next week. And I was really excited about it. And I'm still excited about it. But the excitement now carries with it a twinge of anger. The Bible says, be angry and sin not. So I'm not sinning, folks. This is, I think, a righteous anger. The President of the United States said something that once again brought forth a deluge of accusations that the President is racist. Now, you may or may not know, if you don't know me, you may not know, I happen to be an American of African descent. Now, you will find out about me that I never, ever use the term African American. I reject that term because I reject the idea of a hyphenated American. We will never come together if we keep thinking of ourselves as a balkanized group of people, one ethnic group over on this side, one ethnic group over on that side, and another ethnic group over on that side. And that's what the left loves to do. So I say we are all Americans, first and foremost. We may be Americans of Irish descent. We may be Americans of Italian descent. We may be Americans of of Eastern European descent. We may be Americans of Russian descent. We may be Americans of Asian descent. We may be Americans from any place you can name on the face of the globe. But we are Americans first. Americans first. If we don't get that straight, folks, there's no future for our country because we're going to tear each other apart in our balkanized groups. And this group that the president referred to that has launched these broadside attacks against him as a racist, I affectionately refer to them as the 4 horsewomen of the Democrat apocalypse. You know exactly what I'm talking about. 3 of them are very, very well known. The 4th is not nearly as well known, but she keeps hanging around with them. Everybody will know exactly who she is as well. Of course, I'm referring to Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Ayanna Pressley. The president tweeted out the following, and I'm going to read this tweet to you. He tweeted the following. He said this: "So interesting to see progressive Democrat congresswomen who originally come from countries whose governments are a complete and total catastrophe, the worst, most corrupt and inept anywhere in the world, if they even have a functioning government at all, now loudly and viciously telling the people of the United States, the greatest and most powerful nation on earth, how our government is to be run." Then he goes on to say this: "Why don't they go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came? Then come back and show us how it is done. These places need your help badly. You can't leave fast enough. I'm sure Nancy Pelosi would be very happy to quickly work out free travel arrangements." Well, you can imagine the response that has gotten. The mainstream media has blown up with it. Social media has blown up with it because, of course, they have a particular narrative about this president. And the narrative is, the President Trump. In fact, Don Lemon, none other than Don Lemon, you know, the infamous Don Lemon, who's got like 3 people in his audience, says, well, we know the president is a racist. Case closed. Case closed. Well, the first thing I want to say about this issue is the following. I, as an American of African descent, in fact, folks, my ancestors were slaves and sharecroppers in Orange County, Virginia. My great-grandfather and great-grandmother, Gabriel and Eliza Jackson. And so the first thing I want to say is this. I have expressed that sentiment on so many occasions that I can't begin to number them. That is this sentiment. You people who hate this country so much that you can't find anything good to say about it, and you are constantly criticizing everything and everybody as racist and sexist. And Ilhan Omar, shortly after she got elected, said that she never came. Look, she escaped Somalia, which is a basket case. I would not use the president's language in describing it, but I would say the president's language certainly didn't fall far from the mark. It is a hellacious place. She escaped and was given asylum in the United States of America. Our country, saved this woman's life. And the first things that she had to say, or her reflections on her first impressions upon getting here, were as follows. She came in touch with her otherness for the first time. So in other words, you know, I guess her otherness as being black, her otherness as being Muslim, you know, for the first time, she really felt oppressed. Oh, now, she didn't feel oppressed when people were shooting at her. She didn't feel oppressed when her life was being threatened. She didn't feel oppressed when bombs were going off all around her. But once she got to America, then she felt her otherness. Give me a break. Well, folks, we're just getting started. Back in a moment.
But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. My name is Abraham Hamilton III, and this is the Hamilton Minute. Socialist Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's way regressive chief of staff, Saikat Chakrabarti, admitted in a recent Washington Post interview that the Green New Deal wasn't created to protect the environment, but to implement socialism. He said, "The interesting thing about the Green New Deal is it wasn't originally a climate thing at all. We really think of it as a how do you change the entire economy thing." Chakrabarti is the puppet master behind AOC. She's the face, but he pulls the strings. And climate is the ruse to foist socialism onto the American people.
Listen each weekday from 5 to 6 p.m. Central for the Hamilton Corner with Abraham Hamilton III, public policy analyst for the American Family Association.
This is Dr. Richard Land, president of Southern Evangelical Seminary. Welcome to Bringing Every Thought Captive. I suspect many of you have heard by now about the town of St. Louis Park, Minnesota, and the fact that their city council voted to stop reciting the Pledge of Allegiance at the start of their council meetings. This horrendous action by the city council provoked an immediate reaction. Townspeople have organized protests and have flooded the city council with phone calls, etc. Where did this anti-American political correctness gone mad come from? Diverse community? More welcoming environment by stopping the pledge? Let's look at the words to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. What is not welcoming about these words? One nation, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Far from being polarizing, the Pledge of Allegiance is unifying. This kind of political correctness divides rather than unifies and underscores our differences while downplaying our unity in affirming the ideals on which our nation was founded in the truths embodied in the Declaration of Independence. We're one nation. Our national motto is E pluribus unum, out of many one, not out of one many. As for me, my feelings are symbolized by a T-shirt being offered in a catalog that came in the mail to my house yesterday. There's a Navy sweatshirt that has an American flag emblazoned upon it with the following inscription: "If you're offended, I'll help you pack." This is the greatest nation in the world. That's why so many people want to come here. And in coming here, they need to affirm the truths embodied in the Pledge of Allegiance. This is Richard Land.
This is Focal Point with Brian Fisher on American Family Radio.
And we're back. I'm E.W. Jackson, not Brian Fisher, but Brian, thank you for giving me the opportunity to stand in for you and hope that you are enjoying yourself or getting done whatever you need to be to get done. I'm your host here. The number is 888-589-8840. E.W. Jackson's my name. And let me just finish the thought, and then we've got callers on the line. I want to come to you. Look, if I, as an American of African descent, if I, as a black American, feel exactly the same way the president feels, and I realize that a couple of these people were born in our country. Actually, I'm not sure whether Ocasio-Cortez was, but she's from her ancestry, or I think her parentage is from Puerto Rico. And Ilhan Omar was born in Somalia. And I think she's probably the primary one the president is referring to because she has direct experience in living in a foreign country. But this is my attitude as an American. This is my attitude as a Marine Corps veteran, somebody who raised my hand and took an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States. This is my sentiment as a person who knows that these whining, sniveling leftists would never be able to enjoy anything near the privilege, the prosperity that they experience in the United States of America. And instead of expressing some gratitude for the blessings bestowed upon them by being Americans, they have nothing but carping and criticism and anger and hatred toward this country. And so I myself have said on many an occasion, I wish they'd just leave. I wish they would just leave. Just leave the country to those of us who love it. Leave the country to those of us who believe in free enterprise, those of us who believe in individual liberty, those of us who believe in personal responsibility, those of us who believe in the family as God ordained it, those of us who believe that our rights and privileges and that as our rights and freedoms don't come from government and don't come from some political party, but they come from Almighty God. Those of us who believe in that Declaration of Independence, and those of us who believe that this country, though never perfect, because it's impossible for any nation made up of people to be perfect, this country is the greatest place anybody ever had the opportunity to live since the world came into existence and God put Adam and Eve in the garden. And if you don't believe that, you don't like that, you don't subscribe to that, there's a very easy solution in a free nation. Go. So am I racist? Because I don't care what the color of your skin is. I don't care what the country is you hail from. As far as I'm concerned, you're not welcome here. If you don't love my country, leave. Go. I mean, go somewhere where you really believe that you have an opportunity to become everything you think you ought to be, and see if you could find a place where you can do that. You know, these illegal immigrants, and look, I don't hate anybody, folks. I don't hate illegal immigrants. I don't hate leftists. I don't hate Democrats. I don't hate liberals. I don't hate my worst enemy. I'm a Christian. I love everybody, and I mean that with all my heart. I really do. But I hate bad ideas, and I hate demagoguery, and I hate lies and falsehood and false narratives that are intended to indoctrinate and mislead people. I hate those things. And these people sometimes arriving at our border, flying the flags of some other country, you just want to say, well, turn your backside around and just hit the road, go right back to that place whose flag you're waving. I mean, why do you want to come here? And you don't have a right to come here. We can give you the privilege of coming here by your going through the process that our legal institutions have established for coming here. And if you don't want to do that, then you don't belong here in the first place. Is that racist? Am I anti-Hispanic? Well, according to the left, I guess I would be. Because they just don't know what to do with me because I happen to be black. So they figure out other very nasty categories to put me in. This president is standing up for our country. That's what he's doing. He's not attacking them because they happen to be people of color, as they would put it, or because they happen to be women of color, as they would more precisely say. He's going after them because they have demonstrated themselves to be America haters. America haters. And if you're going to hate our country, why don't you just go find some place else to live? And folks, I say one other thing, and then those of you on the line, stand by because I'm coming right to you. 888-589-8840 is the number. Look, folks, these people want to delegitimize this country. The Colin Kaepernicks of the world, the Ilhan Omars of the world, the Rashida Tlaibs of the world, the Ayanna Presleys of the world, and you could go right down the line and name a whole bunch of folks in Hollywood and entertainment and even in sports, sadly. They don't like America. They don't think America's legitimate. And they ought to go find a country that they believe is legitimate. Go back to Somalia, Ilhan Omar. And let me say, as a black man, if that makes you feel any better and maybe makes you feel like, well, maybe it's not racist, I will say to you as a black man, if anybody listening knows her, please send her a tape of this program. As a black man, as an American, as who happens to be black, I too invite you to depart. And believe me, we're not going to miss you. Because before she could even get here good, she's doing nothing but criticizing the country that saved her and her family's life. Give me a break. And now you want to attack the president. The president is right. And by the way, we've got some clips about the socialism and communism that these people are really bringing into our body politic, or at least accelerating in our body politic which is contrary to everything this country stands for. All right, let's go to the lines. I believe we've got Steve. Steve, welcome. I'm sorry, Steve.
Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome. Glad you called.
And thank you for your service to our country.
Thank you, my friend.
I would like for you to explain to me what the Marine Corps being a leatherneck is, and maybe tie that into the subject matter today, and I'll hang up and listen.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's come back to what being a leatherneck is and tie that into the subject at another time, okay? I want to stay on topic here, and I think that'll get me a little bit off of it. We've got another caller on the line. Jacob, welcome to Focal Point.
Hello?
Yes, Jacob, can you hear me?
Yeah, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Man, if it get any better, I wouldn't be able to stand it.
Praise God.
Yes, yeah. Are you still in around Virginia, D.C., or are you in Tupelo?
Yes, I am. No, I'm in Virginia Beach, in the Virginia Beach area.
Okay, yeah, I'm in Tupelo, as a matter of fact.
Oh, you are? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you get over to AFR, say hello to everybody there for me.
I sure will, because I've been calling to ministry here.
Amen. Amen. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations. May God bless you in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I just came back from Elvis Presley's birthplace.
Oh, is that right? Well, you know, when I've been down there, I've intended to go visit that place, but I haven't had the time when I've been there, so I'm sure that'll be fun. Well, look, what's on your mind today?
Well, the main thing is you're doing the right thing, brother, because these folks have lost all of their mind. I mean, trying to make this country socialistic, and her front man, Ocasio-Cortez, is the puppet master. He's got her doing certain things, and she's gullible enough to do it. And those other three, I mean, it's like like you said, leave if you don't like it. There's plenty of countries. Go stay there and leave America, because America is and always will be the greatest country in the history of the planet. You know, period. And there's no other way to say it. 242 years the same government, and you've got France has had 200 and something governments in that interim. Mm-hmm. It's like there's no comparison. We have so much stability. We have so much love, so much welcoming, so much acceptance of people, and then we allow them to be in the government, which is the ultimate acceptance. And then you turn around and you denigrate. Oh, no, not even one day a week.
Amen. The very place that you know you've been blessed beyond measure, where you wouldn't be able to experience this in any other nation on the face of the earth. And you could say the same thing about a lot of these entertainment and sports figures who've achieved wealth beyond their wildest dreams because they entertain people, and people pay to see them or watch them play or to watch them act or to listen to them sing. And they achieve wealth beyond their wildest dreams, and then they turn around and denigrate the very country and the system that allows them to experience it. I mean, I don't know. There must be a kind of self-loathing or self-hatred or some kind of guilt about being so blessed that's operating in their hearts and minds, because, you know, you would think that they would say, wow, am I grateful to be an American? But no, oh no, America's a horrible place. You know, it's bizarre.
The fact is that we war not against flesh and blood. They are being led by Satan. Mm-hmm. It's a satanic oppression is on their life in some form, and because the stuff they're saying is really stupid, and that's who Satan is.
Amen. Well, you know, I've said many times, without God, you really do just go stupid. In fact, without God, you just go evil. And a lot of this stuff, it is just rank evil. I mean, think about Ocasio-Cortez saying what we have at the border are concentration camps. I mean, what? And we know that those guys doing their job at the border are faced with a nearly impossible task, and they're doing the very best they can to accommodate those folks, knowing that they don't have a right to come into our country, but we're trying to treat them as humanely as possible, and they're overwhelmed. And you got this woman running around, in effect, calling them Nazis, treating people like the Nazis treated the Jews in concentration camps. I mean, it's just beyond the pale.
Well, they're children. You got to realize, because, you know, they're children. They don't study history. They're emotional, and they have no concept of the Word of God, and it has no place in them. So they're going to serve the devil, because we're made to worship something, and that's who they're worshiping.
Amen. And Jacob, you know what? I think we'll end it on that point. You're right. They are like children, but somebody needs, metaphorically speaking, to give them a little spanking and show them the right way. So thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it. Folks, and I say metaphorically because I don't ever want anybody to mistake my meaning and think that I'm suggesting violence against anybody. I don't do that. I don't believe in that. I'm a Christian. I love people. I don't want to hurt anybody. But metaphorically speaking, yeah, these children do need a little spanking. You know, they do need somebody to kind of set them straight and say, now you go over in that corner and you sit there until you get your attitude right. Because I think Jacob is absolutely right. They are like spoiled little brats, you know, that no matter what you do for them, no matter how blessed they are, no matter how great things are for them, they're whining and kicking and screaming about, you know, you won't let me run down the aisles and throw stuff into the aisles, and you're going to punish me and make me behave. Well, yeah, I mean that's what spoiled children sometimes do, isn't it? They act out. Sometimes, I guess, just to get attention. I don't know whether these people are trying to get attention. Sadly, I think that their intentions are more nefarious, more wicked, more twisted, more evil than that. In fact, I think it goes to the ideological perspective that they have. We have a couple of clips that I want you all to listen to, because this is something that the president said for the first time. This is the first time I've heard him say it, and I want you all to hear this, because I think that the president is really onto something that we're going to spend what time we have left in the program talking about. But let's listen to this clip of the president describing what we're facing in some of these leftist Democrats.
What they're looking at is pure socialism, or worse than socialism. You know, there's a word called communism, too. There's a word called, they don't like to use it. Very rarely do you hear that. But there's a word called communism, and they're trying to get socialism over the line. But these people this is beyond socialism to a large extent.
Folks, Donald Trump Jr. was the first person I heard broach the subject. I told you all that I formed something called the Stand Against Communism Coalition, because there really is no discernible ideological, intellectual difference between socialism and communism. Now, it is true, to my understanding, that socialism was being discussed even before communism was implemented, or before Marx even wrote about it. But Marx completely co-opted socialism as simply a pathway to communism. And you cannot separate the two now. And this idea that socialism is some kind of social good, and half our millennials are buying into this garbage, it just goes to show that our colleges, our universities, sadly many of our public schools, have been completely co-opted. And folks, we've got to set the record straight for folks. We've got to warn our fellow citizens just how bad, how twisted and wicked and perverse the ideology of Marxism, which produces socialism and communism, how twisted it is and what it does to societies. We'll be back in a moment.
It is a horrible scenario, but it happens. Dennis writes about his wife. She was diagnosed with leukemia. In fact, she's a 2-time survivor. And in the midst of all that, they ran up over $1 million in medical bills. Thankfully, they're MediShare members. And Dennis says they are so thankful for that, how others came together to meet their needs. And that's how so many MediShare members feel. This is not health insurance. It's different. You don't have to pay for things you don't believe in. And like Dennis found out, it just works. So if you join MediShare, not only do you save a lot of money, the typical family saves about $500 a month, but you know where your money's going each month. You're helping people, and if the time should come, they'll be helping and even praying for you. So yes, it's different, and as more than 400,000 people now know when it comes to healthcare costs, different is beautiful. Find out more. Call 833-44-BIBLE. That's 833-44-BIBLE. 833-44-BIBLE.
Thoughts of the child you were carrying keep pouring over in your mind. You wish things could be different, and the loss is overwhelming. A deep, unrelenting sadness overshadows your days, and you wonder if you will feel whole again. There is hope and healing from a reproductive loss. Call the International Helpline, 866-482-LIFE, and talk with someone who has been where you are. Your call is confidential. 866-482-LIFE.
I refer to your part-time jobs as what you do outside of your home, outside of your family, to generate an income for your family. Your full-time job is what you do within your family. We're on the go consistently, people are hustling, trying to get it. And I just want to remind everybody to whoa, pump your brakes. Make sure that we are not neglecting our families in the process.
Tune in to the Hamilton Quarter, weekdays at 5 p.m. Central on American Family Radio.
Show up at your full-time job, ready to work.
A call to action from American Family Radio.
There's all kind of difficulty in the world. But as the Word of God says, if your brother's in need and you have it within your ability to respond to their need, how can you claim to have love if you allow them to go without? What greater need is there than the need to live? I know life is rough, but it don't have nothing to do with the baby. Don't kill the baby. Don't wait for preborn campaigns. Don't wait for legislation to be passed in your state legislature. Don't wait till Roe versus Wade is overturned. Respond now. I believe with everything in me that we can end this scourge regardless of what they do in the halls of Congress and the halls of the state legislature. Every single family, every single church, go to the local abortion clinics. Let them know that you have people in your churches, people in your family that are willing to take the babies home. They have families that have been dying to take a child home. Don't kill the babies.
Visit afr.net.
American Family Radio.
You're listening to Focal Point with Brian Fisher.
Well, folks, I told you all this is talk radio, and I've been doing a lot of the talking, and I appreciate your patience, but I do want to hear from you. The number is 888-589-8840, and the lines are full, so let's go right to it. We've got Samuel in Kansas. Samuel, welcome to Focal Point.
Thank you, Brian, and how are you doing today?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful. I just want to add my voice to the topic, which is that I'm an immigrant myself.
Samuel, you're breaking up a little bit on us. Can you do something so that everybody can hear exactly what you're saying?
All right. Is it better now?
That's a little bit better, yes.
Okay, let me know if I'm breaking up because, so first of all, I am an immigrant myself, and I can't thank God enough for the opportunity given to me to be in this country.
Amen.
I support legal immigration, and there is nothing wrong for people to come to this country legally. That is the narrative the left is throwing into our eyes, dividing this country. I think Christians should.
Hey, Samuel, where are you from originally again? Okay, did we lose Samuel? Well, listen, folks, you can tell from his accent he's from a foreign country, but he's thankful to be in America, and that's the kind of immigrant I want in our country. So this is not about being anti-immigration, so these leftists just need to quit, and it's not about being racist. Samuel sounds to me like he's from somewhere in Africa, probably. It's not about being racist. It's about wanting people to come to this country the legal way and wanting them to come to this country because they love and respect our country and our way of life. And if you don't believe in that, then just go somewhere else. Let's go to Diana in Louisiana.
Hello.
Hi, Diana.
Hi, how you doing?
Doing wonderful.
Can you hear me, or am I breaking up myself?
You're not breaking up, but if you could get a little bit closer to the phone, the volume's not the greatest right now, but I can hear you,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. I'm from Louisiana, and there's a lot, truthfully, I'm 43 years old, and there's a lot I do not know as far as terminology. I don't watch a lot of TV. I have a TV, but I prefer listening to the radio. This is the first time I heard your talk show. Me, in my mind, I'm not even living in this today's world of Democrat or Republican. I'm for completely international, global-minded people, the world peace. You know, human being. We've come so far from caveman mentality. Why is it still caveman mentality that still arises? Human being, it's so simple, the truth, and human being and respect, a little bit of respect. I can't respect the president, even though I tell the truth, I voted for him. You know, he seemed to have more energy to start, more positive mindedness to start, and now I just don't even know who the person is, so I don't even care to watch TV because it's like I don't even know who it is. I'm going to be honest. I didn't serve very long in the military, but I got my little spanking. I'm happy for it. God saved me from prejudice and racism when I was 13 years old, and I will never forget it. I even chastised my father for being that way. He found his way to church. God does not forsake anybody.
Amen.
And as long as you're trying to better yourself and you want to better yourself and be a better person, there is so much help out there in this world, especially in America. I suffer from bipolar, but I don't let it stop me from doing things like my art or my music. I write gospel music. Really, that was no choice of my own. It just happened. I see a lot of this world, even for men and women, as you got the prodigal son, and then you got half the world that's like the brother and sister that hate.
All right. Well, Diana, listen, we got a lot of people on the line, but thank you so much. I appreciate the fact that you have gratitude for the ability to fulfill your God-given gifts and talents in this country, and every single American who wants to do that can do it. And you're right. Look, folks, America's not a perfect place, and we've got some idiots in our country. Of course we do. I mean, we're talking about some of them now. And we've got some people who think through the lens and see through the lens of race. But I'll tell you what, for every person like that, in my view, there are hundreds of Americans who just want to treat everybody the way they want to be treated, just want to be decent toward every human being. And unfortunately, they're not given credit for it, because if you happen to be an American who is, as they class it, white, you're a beneficiary of white privilege, and you're a white supremacist. I mean, it's preposterous. But this is the garbage that is thrown at us. And, I wish I had time. Maybe I will tomorrow to talk about the history of the world and where America fits into it. Because somebody said earlier, I think it might have been Jacob who said earlier, these leftists have no knowledge of history, no understanding of the context into which this country was birthed, and the uniqueness and the exceptionalism that makes this country something special in all of human history. No appreciation of that whatsoever. Let's go to the next caller. Kim in Texas, welcome to Focal Point. Thanks for calling. Kim, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, that's better. I can hear you now.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Kim. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go right ahead, Kim. You're on.
Okay. I am just pricked in my spirit about everything that's going on.
Okay. Kim, I think if you have a radio on in the background, I think you got to turn it off.
Yes, I turned it off.
Okay.
Okay. I am just pricked in my spirit about all of the foolery and the watering down that the American people is accepting. It's heartbreaking and it's crazy. It makes me so angry. We watering down what we fought so hard for. The people are coming in our country. I want the leftists to go in the countries, other countries, and see if they're going to water down their rules, their regulations that they have in place in their country. Let's see if that's sufficient for them. And then they can come back and see. All they need is 24 hours to see. It's not going to change. They're not going to change. You know what I'm saying? They will tuck their tails and run because of the filth and the garbage and the nonsense and the foolery that is going on in the other countries. Okay, so these people are coming to our country. Why should we have to change for them? Why do we have to water down what we stand for, what we believe in? I love people. God in heaven knows I'm a lover of souls, and I'm getting emotional because this has to stop.
Amen.
Yeah, let us stand up and see this for what it is. It's foolery. We have rules in place to keep Americans safe.
Amen.
But letting everybody, by not having a wall, letting the leftists do what they want to do, and not telling the truth in the media, not telling it for what it is.
Right. Christians
not standing and praying. We have literally put American people, we're not safe anymore. I'm gonna just say it
Kim,
like it is.
Listen, Kim, you have stirred my spirit. Thank you for calling. I appreciate that. We got some others on the line. I'll go to them, but you are absolutely right, folks. Look, if somebody broke into your house and you kicked them out, and somebody said to you, "Well, that's not right. That you're supposed to be a Christian. That's not compassionate." You look at them like they have two heads. Because if somebody knocks on your door and says, "Hey, I need help. Would you give me a glass of water? Would you share a sandwich with me? Would you call an emergency service for me?" And you would say, "Absolutely." If you had any questions, you might leave the person standing at the door, but you say, "Absolutely." But if that person, and you open your door and that person bum rushes in, that's an entirely different matter. And as a Christian, God doesn't expect you to say, "Well, I know you broke in, but you know what? I'm a compassionate person, and you just go ahead and ransack, and you just go ahead and do whatever. Go ahead and kill my family if you want to, because after all, I'm a Christian, and I'm a person of peace, and I don't want to offend anybody." I mean, that's stupid. It's foolishness. And Kim said she didn't give the statistic, but 2,000 Americans die at the hands of illegal immigrants every single year. We don't even have a measure of the number of Americans who've been displaced from jobs because people who have come here illegally have taken those jobs. I've met some of those people in the construction industry, the service industry, who've had their jobs supplanted because illegal immigrants have come in and undermined their wages, sold themselves cheap, and driven Americans out of their jobs. We have a responsibility to protect our own first. I was raised on this theory, and it's quite biblical. Charity begins at home and then spreads abroad. I mean, if my wife and children are hungry and I'm going out in the street giving away their food, I'm not doing something that God's going to smile on. The Bible says if any would not care for his own, he is worse than an infidel and has denied the faith. As Americans, we have a responsibility to care for our own country first. And by the way, nobody, but no country, no group of people anywhere in the world do more to help people who are hungry, people who are lacking in medical care, people who don't have clean water. Americans do more charitable work and give more money to charity than any nation on the earth, than, frankly, to tell you the truth, than almost all nations combined, A. And B, not only does our government give a lot of money in foreign aid, but Americans themselves individually send hundreds of millions of dollars around the world to help people. So please, I don't even want to hear it when you're talking about, how bad America is and how bad Americans are and America's this and America's that. I mean, please, America is, in fact, the greatest nation on earth. We're not perfect. I know that, but I'm not trying to suggest that America's heaven, but I am suggesting that compared to any place else on the earth to live and raise a family and work and grow and build and fulfill your God-given potential, there simply isn't any place close. That's why people want to come here from all over the world. They haven't been duped or fooled. Okay, let's see who else we got here before I get off on another rant here. William in Oklahoma. William, are you there?
Hello.
Hi, William. Welcome to Focal Point.
All right, thanks for taking my call. I just want to make a statement as being black. I know America is not perfect, but blacks have shown their love for the country in World War I, even Revolution War, because we believe in America there's no other place like it. And because we have the hope of the Constitution, but most of all the Bible ourselves, we have a standard that we're trying to achieve. And we're trying to hope that Santa be good to everyone, but it seems like people are trying to take advantage of us. And the fascist spirit by people attacking people just because of their opinions, and the ICE, their families being attacked, the police being attacked. It seems like it's a recipe for chaos. And these people who talk about the flag being turned upside down and then raising that other flag, it shows that they're not putting America first. It seems like this, and everybody should just look at it. It's a plan because the economy is going good. The left just want to destroy it. And you don't build a country by destroying it. You do it by enforcing laws and by talking to people. You don't get it by intimidation. And this is why this country is free, but these people are trying to take away our freedom by going behind the scenes and then intimidating people. And so that is basically what I had to say.
All right. Well, William, you said it, and there's nothing I can add to it. Great. Thank you very much. We're getting close, and so, wow, you know what? Let's try it. Brenda, if you can keep your comments fairly brief, we can get you in. Brenda in Alabama.
Hi, how you doing?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I want to tell you, you are not a racist. I am calling you to talk about this AOC girl and all the other ones. The AOC girl, I heard this the other day on this radio station, that the AOC did not write this Green New Deal. Back in 1980, there was a Green New Deal, a Green New Group, they called themselves. I looked it up online.
Wow.
And they were in England, and they come up with this, and I think it said a 148-page thing.
Well, Brenda, listen, that's going to do it for us for today. And folks, thank you all so much. I appreciate the calls. I'll be back with you again tomorrow here on Focal Point, substituting for Brian Fisher. Until then, remember, we cannot be defeated if we will not quit, because we are on God's side.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
Faith, family, freedom. American Family Radio.
I'm asking if your bill allows that.
My bill would allow that, yes.
Illegal immigration hurts all Americans.
These are perilous times in America. It's critical that you stay alert to the cultural conflicts across our land. Focal Point helps you to do just that. Weekday afternoon.